Alright. Can we talk about the Pollard thing?
Yes.
Alright. There was we spoke about Pollard a couple of weeks ago, and we basically were saying, his situation, he's been there for like 25 years in prison or something, serving a life sentence, and no president has pardoned him. And I saw an article, you probably saw it too because it was in the New York Times, I believe, that, maybe not. It was in the last week that Obama is trying to get leverage, is using Pollard as a pawn to try to shore up his Jewish vote. He's trying to give the hint that if the Jews still all vote for him, because he's basically lost the Jewish vote. We talked about that, right? So now he's dangling Pollard in the balance, like, oh, you want me to, you guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like now Pollard's being used like a pawn, in this political game, that if the Jews all vote for Obama in next year, maybe as a gift, as payback, Pollard will get released like the next day.
Yeah, I think that's way too Machiavellian. I don't think that's true. And I also don't agree that Obama's lost the Jewish vote, because most Jews are secular and leftist, and so they're still going to vote for Obama. So I think, like, the very least he could do, I would say, would be 65%. I don't see him getting anything less than 65%, and I expect he'll probably get something closer to 75%.
Okay, I think this is really directed at the Israeli vote.
The identifying Jews.
Right.
The Jews who give a damn about being Jewish.
Well, it was set down in Florida. Now, we got to give the background on Florida, okay? The state of Florida has become
Battleground state.
It's become a battleground state, but it's also become the Israeli state. And what I'm saying by that is, I've seen it now so common that Israelis, a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot, a substantial amount of Israelis who come to America go to Florida. And I've been told the reason is it reminds them of a lot. So they feel like, oh, this is, this is paradise. So they move to Florida, and they still are, they're very conservative.
And they can fly back to Israel much cheaper than if they're on the West Coast.
There's that. But they're very conservative compared to American-born Jews on average, which is odd to me because they come from a socialist country.
Yeah.
So you'd think they'd be more liberal, right? And then with a more European influence. So you'd think they'd be more. But the thing where they're conservative is they don't pussyfoot when it comes to the enemies.
Yeah.
They're tough. They eat meat. They're willing to stand up and fight, and they don't like do this whole liberal thing. And therefore, they're not a guarantee vote for a liberal. Someone like Obama is not going to impress them, and they'll just kick them out. So this was all conducted. This speech, like where they brought up Pollard, was advanced in Florida, in a speech to Jews in Florida.
Obama brought up Pollard?
No, Biden did his bidding.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Biden did his bidding.
And brought up Pollard.
And brought up Pollard.
So Ginger says I look like Brad Pitt. Would you agree? An old Brad Pitt.